Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about my process of making my own affirmation deck called Love Note to Self. So if you're interested in making your own card deck, stay tuned. So to begin, let's talk about design. So for me, I am not a graphic designer. I don't do anything digital, like that's not my forte. But what I did was I hand drew my love note sigil, and I then took a picture of it and I traced it in the Procreate app on my phone. Procreate, it was free, it's a free app, and I was able to trace it. I really like the hand-drawn look of a sigil, and so I didn't perfect my lines as much. So because I just liked that hand look to it. So that's how I got this actual sigil. And then once I got the sigil all set up, I put everything in Canva. So I created all of this and this in Canva. So all of this is my design. I didn't use any of Canva's templates or anything like that. So like I created this gold box around it. I create the font, of course, they had the font available, but and also like that little marble look was something that I too created, and so that's how I got my Canva print. So you want to make sure that if you're going to do something in Canva or any other design app, make sure that you put your own spin on everything so that you can legally sell it without getting sued. Okay, because if you just take all of Canva's templates and then try to sell it as your own, you're gonna get, okay, so make it your own. Okay, don't be copycatting out here. We do not promote that here. Okay, so that is how the design of the card went. And so the design was honestly the easiest part for me, but you know, that may not be the case. If you are going to have something with pictures, you need to make sure that you keep consistent colors throughout the whole card, because once it gets printed, of course, you know, colors change a little bit because of the machine. So you need to make sure that if you're going to have the color red in your card, make sure that every red on your card is the same, like CMYK or the RGB, you know, so do that. Now let's get to the manufacturer. It took me a while. This was the hardest part for me, honestly, because I needed a printing company that would let me print something one time, because my deck is customizable, because you can put your name in the deck, which means I can't bulk print the name Ashley. I mean, I could, because there's a lot of Ashleys, but you understand what I'm saying. I can't bulk print someone's name, especially if you have a unique spelling to your name, like moi. So that was a really difficult thing, but luckily I came across MakePlayingCards.com. But originally I was going to use Print Ninja. I liked Print Ninja because they're in the US and they also use a manufacturer in China, which is very common. Most of the manufacturers that people use for their decks are going to be across seas, probably in China, possibly Japan, but mostly in China. So you can look on Alibaba, you can Google tarot card manufacturer, oracle card manufacturer, or you could do like I did, and I looked at some of my own decks that I own to see who they use for their manufacturer, and then I Googled that manufacturer to see, you know, what their prices were, what they had available, and so on and so forth. So the beautiful thing about Print Ninja is that you can order a card sample brochure, and I think it's only $5 to get it shipped to your house. So the brochure, it's free, you're just paying for the $5 shipping. It arrives pretty quickly, and it shows you what the card is going to look like, the name of the type of card, and then you get to feel the thickness of the card, which is something I really appreciated because it helped me understand what I was looking for in other manufacturers. So the important aspects you need to be mindful of is the GSM, which has to do with the thickness of the card. Playing cards are the thinnest card. Playing cards are the thinnest card. The Rider-Waite Tarot deck is a little bit thicker. It's about 280 GSM. Okay? There are other oracle cards, such as, for me, the Afro Goddess Oracle is thicker than both of those, like the tarot card and the playing cards. So I would assume that this may be like a 300, and maybe even be like up higher to like 310 or 350 or even 400. So if you have the Afro Goddess Oracle, it's very thick, as you can see. So there's that. So the GSM is the thickness of the card. You also have the dimensions of the size of your card. So in comparison to a large mason jar, the Rider-Waite Tarot card is this size, which is 2.75 by 4.75, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 2.75 by 4.75, which is pretty average tarot card height and width. My deck is the same size as the Afro Goddess Oracle, which is 3.5 by 5. So it's a little bit bigger, and it's not as tall. So you can see the comparison between the two. Okay, and then you see that it's a little bit wider of a card. Okay, so I went with this size because I love this size. My hands are small, and this just like really is so perfect, and it photographs really beautifully. So that's the size card that I decided to go with. You can go smaller even, but most manufacturers are going to have this 2.75 by 4.75 and the 3.5 by 5. So that's so GSM, the size of your card, and you need to make sure that you have a really high quality, either a PDF or PNG or JPEG. So the files type can't be like some random Word file. Like you have to put it in whatever format that they can take it. So that is really important. I suggest that you just order the Print Ninja brochure just to have before you even decide what manufacturer you want to go with, just because it was really helpful to see everything. And there's so many different types of cards. Like there are cards that have a black, you can't really see it on camera, but they have like a black cord in between both sides of the cards, and that contributes to the thickness. Maybe you want it to be shiny, to have gold foil on it. Maybe you want it to be glossy or holographic. So there's so many different types, and this brochure really helped me to see and feel what my cards could possibly be like. So that's how it went for the manufacturer. I ended up going with MakePlayingCards.com because they allowed me to print one deck at a time. And the only drawback I had was the thickness of the card. So all of their cards are pretty much like playing card thickness. And they're casino style, so they're a little bit more durable, but I like had to give up the thickness because I really like the Afro Goddess. Like I love the quality of her cards. She did amazing choosing this quality, and like this was my like model for a card. So I love the thickness, I love the size, I love the matte feeling, but in order for me to get what I wanted done, I had to give up a few things. So I went with the same size. I used the same 3.5 by 5. This is a sample, so it's a little bit bigger because I wanted to see that. So it is, you can see it's a little bit more flexible than See, I can do this, and this takes a little bit more effort, okay? So it is a little bit more flexible, and I'm okay with that, especially because when I'm like shuffling cards, I need things to be a little bit durable, but I don't want them to just like get raggedy real quick, okay? So that's why I didn't go with FedEx. So that's why I went with makeplayingcards.com. And they also do like the gold foil, they do the holographic. I think they are now coming out with possibly a glow in the dark option, which is really freaking cool. So I really enjoyed walking through that process. And the beautiful thing is that you can choose different finishes. So you can choose a gloss finish, you can choose a matte finish. And so I just went with their standard finish, which it doesn't really have a gloss to it. I'm not really a fan of glossy cards anyway. And so it's just like it's regular. I don't know how to describe it. So that's what I went with. And then lastly, your packaging. So all of the manufacturers are going to give you a choice of whether you want your deck to just be shrink wrapped, if you want a tuck box. And a tuck box is kind of the one, I don't have one available on me, but oh yes I do. A tuck box, this is a tuck box, and you can just literally tuck it and close it. So you can get that option, or you have an option to do the box that has the magnetic close on it, or you can do this kind of box that comes on and off, okay? So those are your options when it comes to packaging, and of course it's going to be an extra price if you do a box. And the dimensions for the box, I would recommend you possibly go on Fiverr to get someone to actually design the box so that you just don't screw up the dimensions, unless you yourself are a graphic designer. But I just went into Fiverr to Google like tarot box designer, card game designer, card game box. Like those were the keywords that I used, and I was able to find a couple of designers who could actually help me design a box, which I'm planning to release a little bit later. But for now, I wanted to do something a little bit more intimate. And of course, I'm still battling between like save the trees, don't save the trees, save the trees or look pretty, you know? So I chose to save the trees this time and not design a box for my deck. So those are your options when it comes to your packaging. So I chose to just do shrink wrapped, and then I did my own packaging for the cards using little bags. So you can also get a bag design. So these, for example, like you can get like a little velvet drawstring bag, and you can put your design on it. You can put your name, all of this on it. And that too is an option. I'm sorry I didn't mention that earlier. So it's a lot of little details that goes into designing your own cards. So that's why you need to take your time and like really write everything out, plan everything out. Whenever some manufacturer says like, do you want a sample? You need to answer yes, yes, yes. And Make Playing Cards had Make Playing Cards and Print Ninja, their customer service, amazing, and they both were able to help me. They answered my emails in a really fast time. I didn't call anyone, but just even through email, it was really beautiful. So if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them below. I'd be happy to do another video going a little bit more in depth, but that just covers the basics of making your own cards. This is your sign. Go do it, boo. It's so worth it, okay? It's so worth it to just see your artwork in the hands of other people and seeing people use your vision and see your vision and respect it. So thank you everyone who has purchased a deck. I will be working on orders this week and next week, and be excited for the release. The next release date is March 1st. So y'all get your coins together. That's next Monday. is when you'll be able to order Love Notes to Self again. Okay, mwah, bye.